The first time I read about you, it was written that you were born under a full moon in Santa Cruz. So actually, everything has started, how Sleepy Sun started.
Yeah, well, we met in Santa Cruz, and Santa Cruz is a very hippie community, I guess you could say. And so during full moons, we would often have these drum circles, what they call them. We'd go out into the field and people would get naked and dance around sometimes. And so we may or may not have met under those circumstances, but that was, I guess, in a way to summarize the sort of scenarios that we got ourselves in at first, and when we first established the bond between us, I guess.
What about the Santa Cruz scene?
It's a bit difficult to be a band in Santa Cruz, to be completely honest, partially because half of the population are college students, much as we were. So, come summertime, that population leaves, and so you're left with the remainder of your audience that, is still around in the city. And in other regards, there are very few venues in comparison to San Francisco, where there's quite a few. So in Santa Cruz, if you've played the 3 or 4 kind of major ones, that's it, and then you're just playing those over and over, and then eventually you're going to have to start playing shows in San Francisco or touring. So after we had written Embrace and recorded it, we just ended up moving to San Francisco. It was an easier transition too.
That's kind of how we started doing more of the house party,
birthday parties, weddings.
Yeah, weddings, bar mitzvahs. We're actually trying to get back into bar mitzvahs. If anyone out there needs a bar mitzvah band, house band.
That was sort of one of the reasons why we moved to San Francisco, though, was to sort of expand our. At the same time, we were kind of looking for something a little bit bigger and a little bit more opportunity, more places to play.
You found it.
Yeah, well, here we are in Rome, which we have to keep pinching ourselves to remind us.
Where does the name Sleepy Sun comes from?
Well, it originated from the title of one of our songs called Sleepy Sun. And we decided that we wanted to change our name, which had been previously, we were called Mania, and we played a different brand of rock and roll, but we felt this name fit the sound, I guess, a little bit better.
I think that the best part of Sleepy Sun is on stage.
Well, last couple of years, or I think last year we played over 200 shows in the span of a year's time. So that's a lot of time to be on stage and sort of figure out what you're doing. But I'd say for the most part as a band, we kind of got over the whole stage fright thing back in Santa Cruz, and we've just progressed since then. It doesn't, at least speaking for myself, I don't, if there's 5 people in front of us or 5,000, it doesn't really matter. Still, I'm on stage. I'm going to put on the best show I possibly can, and I get into a different mindset, when I am on stage and present, and it's more of just kind of trading ideas and working with my bandmates on the stage to bring everything together.
Okay.
I think we get along pretty well as far as bands go, I think, but touring as much as we do, playing consecutive shows, you find a stride, you find a rhythm like anything else, and it feels really nice to get into that. But then I think it was Miles from the Akron family told me his theory is after you play a certain number, and the magic number is actually 19 shows. After you play 19 consecutive shows in a row.
Just 19?
Yeah. It sort of came up on every tour that they went on. The 19th show, things would start to feel a little bit weird, or they'd start to feel mechanical in a lot of ways on the stage, in the van, everything.
You've played
would be a little bit off,
hundreds of 19.
Right, yeah, so we've had many repetitions of that cycle, but yeah, that actually does happen on tour,
What about ATP?
Actually, really shortly after we moved to San Francisco, our record got into Barry's hands at ATP, and he happened to really like it, and then offered to release the record and also to have us to play one of the festivals in Minehead.
The one I saw you at.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, the Fast Strikes Back.
That's probably the best thing about ATP is the invitations we get to play their festivals. It's one of the greatest festival experiences, I think, in the world. And they've got really great label presence over here in Europe. They're definitely great appreciators of art themselves, I think, which is it's a very important thing. If you're going to be paying to putting out a record, you should care about it.
And what's next after Fever? Are you going to do something different? Are you stopping? What's in your future after the end of the tour?
I think we're going to try and do some of the recording simultaneously with writing the record, at least document the process, whether or not it ends up being released. But and I think we'd like to have the recording process be one and the same as the writing process. I think that would be a new take on the next record, which I think we're all very excited about.
Okay.
Yeah.